Chris Eubank Jr., kind enough to join us on the program? Yes? No? No? Yes? Oh,
Good
there
evening.
he is.
I am here.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm in Dubai right now. It's nearly 12 at night.
I know.
I came out of my dinner to come and speak to you guys.
You're not happy about it, I could tell. You're probably cursing my
No,
name.
no.
You're annoyed.
I don't mind. I don't mind. It's okay.
Why did they book it? Why did they book it for the 11:30 Dubai time? Why didn't they tell me?
I have no idea. I guess it's the time difference. I'm not sure what time it is where you guys are. I think we're like 8 hours there or something.
And
crazy.
You probably said,
I
don't know this
it's all good.
MMA jabroni. Why am I interrupting my dinner? I have no clout with you. I'm a nobody to you, and you're like, I shouldn't waste my time with this guy, right? If I was IFL, you would have done it at the dinner table.
You want to hear something crazy?
Tell me.
I actually watch way more UFC than I do boxing.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. I guess I box so much. Boxing is such a huge part of my life that in my free time I don't want to see it. I want to see something different. So if I'm gonna watch a sport, I watch the UFC. That's the main thing I watch.
Who are some guys that I love hearing that? Who are some guys that you really like watching that you will make sure to try and go out of your way to watch in the UFC?
Watched what was the last one I watched? Sean O'Malley.
Oh yeah,
Sean.
Yeah, you like that?
That was a great fight. Volkanovski. Watched that. Listen, I even watched Nate Diaz fight Jake Paul the other day.
Oh yeah,
how crazy is that? Stuff like that is happening because I watched Nate for years. In the UFC. To see him in a boxing ring was pretty funny, and yeah, it's just entertaining, man. I like everything about the UFC except how Dana's monopolized it and how these guys are not getting paid anywhere near how much we're making in boxing. But that's the only downside to the sport, in my opinion.
Okay, so two very interesting things there. Could I just ask, when you, as a top-level pro boxer, when you're watching Jake Paul, Nate Diaz, do you cringe inside? How do you feel? Are you able to compartmentalize that this is a totally different thing that you're doing? Do you appreciate what they're doing? How do you walk away from that?
Listen, I don't hate on another man's paycheck. I don't hate on another man's hustle. He's found a way to make great money in the sport that I love and that I've dedicated my life to. I'm happy with the paydays I get, so I don't hate on it. But you've got guys who have been in this game their whole lives who haven't made a percentage of what this guy's making, who obviously look at that like it's not fair. He hasn't paid his dues. He hasn't done enough to earn these big paydays fighting guys who aren't professionals. So I understand it from their point of view. But at the same time, these YouTuber fights are bringing in a new audience to the sport. You've got kids and people around the world who maybe never would have thought to watch a boxing match, who are now involved in the sport, who now are invested in watching fighters because because their YouTube heroes are in these matchups. So I think that the fanfare transfers over to the real sport. So in that sense, I think it's good. I also think that the paydays that these outfits are giving fighters are way better than what they would be getting in the UFC or smaller fight promotions in boxing. So you can't knock that either. Fighters are getting good money, like real fighters on the undercard. So I think I'm not against it.
I love your take on the business. I'm curious if you think we'll ever see a day where the UFC stars are making close to what the boxing stars, because as you may know, Dana White loves to say that boxing is broken and I could be the one to fix it. And then I look at the paydays and I'm like, well, damn, it looks like the boxing guys are doing pretty well for themselves. So do you ever think that there'll ever be a day where it's a little more equal?
It's impossible. You have in the UFC, you have a guy who's monopolized the entire MMA world. You can't, you can't if you don't accept what Dana's giving you, goodbye. Find somewhere else to go. Perfect example is Ngannou. In boxing, you have promoters all over the world. You have associations. You have the IBF, the WBO, the WBC. All these different outfits are fighting for the best fighters, the best shows. They're all, all right, come with us and we'll pay you this. The competition is so huge that they're always gonna pay fighters more, whereas Dana doesn't have to compete with anybody, so he can pay you whatever you want. In terms of business, he's cracked it. You gotta give the guy credit from a business perspective, but from a moral perspective, these guys, they're risking their lives. They're having to go through hell and back to train and prepare and get in the ring and get into the octagon and fight, and they're not being compensated like they should be, in my opinion. So it sucks. It sucks as a fighter. It sucks. But what can you do? You can't do anything until there's more competition. There's nothing you can do.
One last thing on all this. You mentioned Ngannou. Do you think he has a chance on October 28th to beat Tyson Fury? Do you give him any kind of chance?
Every heavyweight has a chance. These guys are too big and they punch too hard to not have a chance. In the heavyweight division, all it takes is one shot. He has a puncher's chance. He cannot outbox Tyson Fury. It's impossible. He could catch him early on. That's, I think, his best bet. If I was to give him some advice as a boxer, I would tell him from round one, run at this guy. Swing for the fences. Hopefully you land something. And you can. You're a skilled striker. You've got knockout power. Yes, you're wearing 16-ounce gloves, which is a hell of a difference, or 10-ounce gloves, which is a big difference compared to the 4-ounce that you wear in the UFC. But Tyson can be put down. We've seen him go down before. So if you catch him, you're going to put him down. That's his best shot. As the fight goes on and he gets tired, he'll start getting jabbed. He'll start getting bamboozled with Tyson's boxing skills. So he needs to take it to him early. Don't try and outbox this guy, because that is not going to be fun.
We just saw you in action a couple of weeks ago. Congratulations, a tremendous win. It was exhilarating to watch, to see how many people were counting you out, and then to see you come back and show everyone who you really are in this rematch to avenge that loss was tremendous theater. And so could I ask, what is a more intense feeling for you? The heartbreak of a devastating loss like the one that you experienced in January, or the exhilaration that comes with a win where you prove everyone wrong and you get back on track and now you're the man and now you're calling all the shots? Which feeling is more intense? What you experienced in January or what you experienced in early September?
It's a good question. I wasn't. If you see me after the win last Saturday, I wasn't jumping up for joy.
Right.
I didn't even smile. That was what was supposed to happen in the first fight. That was what I always knew was going to happen. As long as I stick to the game plan and do what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm a better fighter than this guy. When I lost the first fight, I said it before, it was a miracle shot. It was a freak accident. And I wasn't upset. I wasn't depressed afterwards. I was pissed off. How the hell did I let this guy catch me like that? I was winning the fight. I was comfortable. I was relaxed, maybe a little bit too relaxed. I gave him that opening. Should have never happened. So yeah, I went from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs. That's what happens in boxing. You're only as good as your last fight. When I lost in January, I was finished. I was shot. I was too old. I had made too much money. So I wasn't hungry enough. I didn't want to be in there anymore. I wanted to just go and hang out in Vegas and play poker and travel the world and do all this shit. And now People are talking about, oh yeah, he should fight Canelo and Golovkin and all these names. Conor Ben, you're only as good as your last fight. You know, I got booed into that arena last weekend, and the same guys that I watched these guys booing me as I'm walking past them on the way to the ring. So one guy tried to throw something at me. Um, these same guys are begging me for pictures on the way out.
Huh.
It's insane. It's insane how, you know, how fight fans, how fickle they can be.
Right.
Um, but that's what it is. That's what it is. I've been dealing with that my entire career. I've been the bad guy in so many fights, booed into so many arenas, and cheered out. It's just kind of become a part of who I am as a fighter. But there's some big fights out there for me over the next 12 months. So I'm excited, man.
That fickleness, does that ever affect your love of the sport where you're like, you know what, I'm out there, as you say, risking my life, and these people don't appreciate. They want to stab me in the back. They want to turn on me. They want to kick me when I'm down. Why am I doing this?
Um, the people that hate you, the people that love to hate you, people that talk shit about you online. Can you swear on here, by the way? I don't
Absolutely.
know if this
Say
is a
whatever you
family
want,
show or
Chris.
not.
Yeah, go crazy.
Yeah, yeah. The people that talk shit about you online, that troll you, that disrespect you and comments on YouTube and Instagram and saying you're going to get knocked out and all this stuff. These same guys are buying the front row tickets to see you lose.
Hmm.
These same guys are paying the pay-per-view to see you lose. So you can't actually be upset. These guys are making a living for you. Sometimes even more than the fans. Sometimes the people that don't like you actually talk about you more than the fans do, believe it or not. So they're actually pushing
Mm-hmm.
they're pushing your agenda because they're talking about your fight. Yeah, they're not talking about it in the positive, but they're still talking about it. And that makes other people involved and invested. Oh, I didn't even know about this guy. Let me check him out because this guy hates him, so he must be a dick. And then they go and check him out, and then they either say, oh, yeah, he is a dick. I'm going to go watch him get knocked out too. Or, you know what? This guy's actually not so bad. I actually kind of like this guy. I hope he wins. Yeah, I'm going to tune in too. So I never got caught up on the whole, the haters and the doubters and the trolls. I never took that personally. Hey, as long as you're watching, I'm happy.
Who, in your opinion, was vilified more? Conor Ben, who failed multiple drug tests, or Chris Eubank, who just lost, a somewhat, shocking, a shocking result to a guy who a lot of people thought you were going to win, and the towel was thrown and all that. Who do you think got more heat as a result of those two things?
Listen, Connor's Conor. You can't really compare. There's no one you can compare to Conor. He has the whole world knows who he is. He actually sponsored me for my last fight.
No, I'm talking about
So
Conor
shout out to
Ben, by
Conor
the
for
way.
that.
Conor Ben.
Oh, okay. This is an MMA show. I thought you were
Yeah,
talking about
nah, I
McGregor.
know my thing. I'm saying I felt like so many people criticized you and hated on you after that fight just for losing a fight. That's what happens. You lose a fight. And
Oh yeah,
and then I was
yeah,
wondering
yeah.
if you ever sat back and being like, am I getting more shit than the guy who failed a couple drug tests and blew up the whole thing on fight week? I was wondering if you looked at it that way.
Oh yeah. It was close. It was close, man.
Isn't that crazy?
For 6 months, I had people going in, um, and it was rough. It was and yeah, I'm thinking, well, listen, I'm at least I'm a clean athlete. At least I didn't quit. The way I got stopped, I was on my feet begging the referee to let me to continue. And when he waved it off, I ran over to the other side of the ring where Liam Smith was, and I looked him in his eyes because I knew the rematch was going to happen. I looked him in his eyes just to let him know, yeah, okay, you got this one, but I'm here. I'm ready to go. You didn't knock me out. You didn't stop me. The referee stopped the fight. And, I'm going to get my get back whenever the rematch happens. That was my mind. That was my mindset. um, after that first loss. And I watched the replay back, and I said to myself, I said to my team, I'll take that. You know, I can accept that type of defeat,
Mm.
as in, it wasn't me quitting. You know, I wasn't looking up at the referee. All right, 8, 9, 10. You know what? No, I don't want it. I don't want it anymore. I didn't quit on my stool. I was up on my feet, ready to go. I can live with that. I can sleep with that at night. Um, but that was, you know, that whole scenario was all I thought about for the next half a year. You know, just replaying that moment and thinking about it, and imagining how I'm going to turn it around, you know, envisaging everything I needed to do to make sure in the rematch that never happened again. And then obviously, as you guys saw in the rematch, it was a completely different fight.
The eventual 2023 Trainer of the Year, Brian McIntyre, Bomac, was in your corner for this fight, and I'm just wondering, this is the first time you worked together. I'm wondering when you realized that you made the right choice to link up with him. Was there a moment where you were like, "Oh, this is my guy. This is the right call. This is the guy who should be by my side."
Yeah, I mean, he's a great trainer. He has a great team around him. I've never had a team before. I know that sounds insane,
Yeah.
but it is the truth. You know, I've trained myself for many years, and when I did have trainers, it was just one guy. You know, I trained with Roy for a few years, Roy Jones. He was supposed to train me for this last fight, but then he couldn't do it. But it was just Roy. He didn't have a team. Bomac has, you know, strength and conditioning, a nutritionist. There's other pad man. There's two pad guys. Um, you know, there's a whole community, you know, around you. And that, you know, I was watching fights for the first time with the team. You know, breaking things down, strategizing. I'd never done any of this stuff before.
Wow.
Most of my career was just, I didn't even, you know, I'd watch a couple fights of the guy on YouTube, and I would just go in the gym, train. All right, get me that guy to spar. I'm going to do this many rounds on the bag. I'm going to, you know, I would just control everything. This was the first camp where I really just let go. All right, you guys tell me what to do, and I'm just gonna do it. Um, it was nice. It was a relief. I didn't have to. The mental pressures of preparing for a camp were kind of taken off of me, because I didn't have to schedule things. I didn't have to. They just had everything in place, and that was great. Um, so yeah, shout out to Bomac, and yeah, I think that's going to be my guy for the foreseeable future.
Is there anything you can tell us about his status? Is he still in the UK? Is he still dealing with that situation that was very unfortunate after the fight?
Yes, he is.
He is. Wow.
He's still in the UK. He's being held in the UK. I can't talk too much on it because, you know, there's a lot of legal stuff going on right now. I still don't even know how it happened, why it happened. Um, yeah, it's a crazy situation. I have no idea how it's going to play out. We just got to pray that, you know, we can get him out of there and get him back to where he's supposed to be.
Okay. And just a couple more for you. I appreciate that it's late over there, so I won't keep you much longer. This is great to finally get a chance to talk to you. I know you have a lot of options. Canelo's fighting on September 30th. You mentioned Kell Brook. You mentioned Triple G. Everyone thinks that the fight with you and Conor Ben would be a gigantic thing. 80,000 people has been said. I saw Eddie Hearn seconds after your win, you know, pushing it on social media. They had a video ready to go, all that stuff. And I know you have said it will happen at some point. You just don't know when. It may not happen next, but it will have to happen at some point. Now that some time has passed, can you say, like, are you leaning in one direction? Are you confident? You know, like, do you feel like you are leaning towards one side or the other, one guy or the other? Is there anything you could tell us about who you'll be fighting next?
I mean, it's only been, you know, it's been like 9, 10,
I know,
11
I know. We're
days
just
since I
eager.
last
We're
fought.
we're
So
we're, we're anxious.
yeah, yeah. Things don't, in boxing, you can't, you know, these things take time. There's definitely, I can't give you a timeline on when the Conor Ben fight will happen. There's still a lot of stuff that he's got to get straight. Um, would I like to fight him next? Yes, it's a great fight. It's a fight that the fans have been dying to see for a long time, and it will happen. But I can't say whether it will be next. There's so many great names out there. You just have to see when and where and how these fights can be made.
Okay.
There's a lot of politics in boxing. It's not like the UFC where you got one guy and you can just say, all right, you. There's so many different entities and people involved in making a fight. And that's maybe the downside of having so many different communities in the boxing world. Yes, you're going to get paid more, but it is a hell of a lot harder to make these big fights because you don't have one guy controlling everything.
Will you be in Las Vegas on September 30th, front row, ringside, to maybe get in the mix there for Canelo's next fight?
What date is it?
September 30th.
Of course. I will be in Vegas towards the end of this month.
Okay.
So yes, I think I will make it to that fight.
Okay, that would be fantastic. Could I ask you, how are things with your father? Are you able to tell us like the state of your relationship with him? How did you speak to him after the fight? Did you hear from him after the fight?
I heard from him. He said congratulations. My old man is he's a different spirit. He's not a normal guy. So he's okay. He's doing well, which is the most important thing. And he wants the best for me. So I'm happy.
You feel at peace with where you're at? He's been on my show before, and he was one of my favorite guests ever because he's such a captivating character. And as a father myself, I was a bit bummed to see some of the things that were being said over the last year or so. And so I'm just wondering if you feel at peace with where things are at with him.
Listen, father and son relationship is you have your ups and downs. That's just part of life. At the moment, things are there's things that have happened in our family life which have affected things. But he'll always be my old man. He'll always be my father. I'll always love him. And whatever problems we may be having to deal with, we will get through.
Okay. Last question for you. You said it a bunch of times, and it's a word that stuck with me even in the aftermath of the fight. You said you battled a lot of demons going into this fight. And I'm wondering, does the win on September 2nd, in your opinion, exorcise those demons? Are they all gone? Or do you still feel like you are battling demons?
Those demons were specific to that fight. So yes, those demons are gone. I had to live with people saying I was finished for 6 months. People saying that Liam Smith is a better fighter than me. I could never beat him. He's going to knock me out again. I'm finished. So those are the demons that you're dealing with. And you see it so much and you hear it so much. And it's like, damn, maybe they're right. Shit, everyone's saying it. Look at the betting odds here. I'm such a huge underdog. Those demons start creeping into your mind. That little devil on your shoulder. You have to slap that son of a bitch off. Hey, listen, I know what I am. I know what I've done. I know what I'm capable of. I'm a bad boy out here. I'm not finished. I'm just getting started. I'm going to show these guys. I'm going to show these people. I'm going to show myself that I'm the real deal. That's what I did.
You certainly did. What a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for doing this, Chris, especially at that hour. Really appreciate it. Congratulations and good luck to you moving forward. Hopefully we could do it again in the future.
Okay, good man. Speak to you soon.
Cheers. There he is. Chris Eubank Jr. What a great chat that was. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel. So please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.